Hi everyone. Today we are going to make a painting of a cake slice. First, draw the slice on your paper. The sketch is pretty simple. Divide the cake slice into basic shapes. At the top, we have a triangle. Then on the side, there is a rectangle. Then few more rectangles here. And circles for the strawberries in the middle. Finally, curve some of the edges. To paint the sponge, apply clean water, then add burnt umber with water mixed in to make it lighter. Do an even coat here. Don't worry too much if it's not perfect because we are going to do more layers on top. Here I felt I could have used slightly bigger brush to make this process faster. But make sure if you are using a larger brush, avoid painting over the cream in the middle, or later it will look muddy. Now repeat the same for this portion. First apply water, then do an even coat of paint, being careful not to paint over the cream section. As we are using a watery mixture, you should find it easy to spread the paint. While the paint is still damp, take darker value of burnt umber and drop it in like this. Make squiggly lines to create the texture of the cake. I'm making them while the paint is still damp, as I personally prefer smoother lines here. If you make them on wet and wet, paint will spread. On the other hand, if you do wet on dry, then they will be more defined and harsh. And if your painting tend to dry faster, you can always soften the edges using a clean, damp brush. This is a fairly simple illustration of a cake, and the main part of this is the sponge. Once you nail the texture in this step, rest of the painting will be pretty straightforward. Start by building up the texture using your midtones. After you've established enough of those lines, you can then introduce the darker tones for depth. So here we are trying to achieve a crumbly texture of the cake. And for the air pockets, we are making the shadows with darker values, whereas the light values will work as highlights. Make sure to not overdo it, as we still want some of the base layer to show through. It's kind of relaxing as you are repeating similar patterns until you are happy with the result. One of the ways to practice this technique can be by making different flavors of cake, like strawberry, vanilla, etc. Just change color for each flavor and follow the 3 simple steps. First, paint the base layer with light color, then add squiggly lines with mid and dark tones. Now I'm making some of the areas uneven, as cakes don't have straight lines along the sides. During summers, the layers might dry faster due to high temperature, and if you don't like harsh edges, you might soften them up. While doing this, be careful and don't merge everything. We don't want to lose the lovely texture we just made. So just gently soften some of these lines. However, this is my personal preference, but if you like it this way, you can leave it and move on to the next step. Now for the strawberry cream, mix alizarin crimson and white. Here we are mixing white as we want to make a soft pink color, and adding it in alizarin crimson will make it more pastely. As we are going to do red within these strawberries, don't worry too much and do an even wash on this entire section. In order to paint the mousse, apply a layer with lighter version of burnt umber. Then add a darker color here. Soften this line for a smoother transition. While painting this section, keep it lighter where it's touching the sponge, and towards the top you can have a darker value. Here, I'm lifting some of the paint to make it lighter. If you apply paint in any area accidentally, you can lift it with a clean brush or a tissue. After this is done, let's paint the glaze. Use a darker value and apply it on the top. It should be an even coat, as we want to make it appear as shiny and reflective. I'm adding more pigment here to make it darker. Now, let this dry, and while it is drying, let's make the strawberries using cadmium red. Make them darker towards the outside and lighter from the center. Now I'm adding more color here, making it even darker at the top to make it look more chocolatey. Add few details in the strawberries with orange. And finally add some highlights with white pen or gouache. The top part of this cake should be shiny, so add highlights as I have added. Or you can also see any reference picture of a glazed chocolate cake slice to get more idea of how to paint these reflections. If your white paint becomes dim after applying it one time, you may need to apply multiple coats. Here I used a white pen, but I was not happy with the result as it felt little less reflective, and I had to do white gouache on top of it, which looked much better. You can also use white acrylic paint or any opaque paint that can work as highlights. With this, our painting is complete. Let me know in the comments if you liked it. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more videos like these. See you next time.